Andy Burnham, the Greater Manchester Mayor, King of the North, is now backing a call into a national inquiry into grooming gangs. Every week in Greater Manchester, our Mayor, Andy Burnham, appears on a BBC radio show, Mike Sweeney. And it's presented as a platform where members of the public can come in and speak to him about anything, and our hard-hitting, honest, transparent Mayor speaks directly to the public. The BBC, of course, as we've clearly evidenced, are complicit in the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of children. Burnham was on the BBC. It's all orchestrated, it's all coordinated, and these are tactics that are nothing new to us. And that's why our small community has grown, and that's why our small community, a campaigning community, has removed 3 successive council leaders in a row and taken a council into no overall control in a Labour Party stronghold against the national trend. And those of you across this nation who are frustrated, who are angry, if there is a story to tell of a greater good that comes out of this, that story is how you can be the difference, and how these powerful people and their partners in the mainstream press can be challenged and can be defeated. Let me bring something up. This is Andy Burnham CSE inquiry. If you type it in, first of all, you'll see the narrative already being spun. This man wants to be Prime Minister. We will make sure he does not become Prime Minister, despite what the Financial Times wants to say, despite what the Times or the Independent want to say, and most definitely despite how the BBC wants to promote him. So people across the world are now thinking, oh yes, good old Andy Mayor, on the side of the working man, he wants an inquiry. Burnham has already had an inquiry, and we've exposed that inquiry to be a cover-up. Burnham is the Police and Crime Commissioner who oversees the police force that has been involved in my political persecution, and Burnham is aware. I want you to listen to his interview, then we'll do what I do with it. So this is the BBC webpage. Burnham backs limited national abuse inquiry. Greater Manchester Mayor has said he would back a limited national inquiry into child grooming gangs to compel people to give evidence, so those who may have charges to answer are held to account. Sounds promising. It comes after MPs voted against the Conservative call to have the government set up a national investigation, though ministers have not ruled out holding one in the future. Labour veteran MP Mr Burnham said a series of local reviews into abuse in Manchester, Rochdale and Oldham he commissioned were limited compared to what a public inquiry could achieve. So first of all, the first time he is admitting his inquiry was limited. So this is the beginning of backtrack Burnham. He's good at backtracking, is Burnham. So this is the first time he's ever said his inquiry was limited. Now I say to each and every one of you, why is Burnham now admitting that his inquiry in Greater Manchester was limited? Who else in this country, forget the mainstream news, where else but through this small team of campaigners have we ripped apart Burnham's inquiry and exposed it for the sham it is? Now he's claiming it was limited. Oh Raja, you should take that as a win. Oh, you've got to learn to play the game. I'm not playing a game. I'm not here to play games with anyone. I'm not here to compromise with any jihadist, any Islamist, or any politician involved in the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of children. I'm not here to look the other way if we get a little bit something the other way. And if I fall because of that and my beliefs and my values, then so be it. But I will not compromise with these people. The only reason this country now knows that Burnham's review in Greater Manchester was limited, as in a sham, a cover-up, was because we called it out as a sham and a cover-up, and we have been evidencing for the last, 2 years nearly, that it is a sham and a cover-up. He said he was frustrated that Westminster politicians had taken no interest in the issue when these reports were published. Just that sentence. When the reports were published, the Independent Alliance on Oldham Council, who all squabble with each other, united on this issue and called for the government to be called in. Off the back of his report and not just the evidence we'd managed to pull out of it, but also the cover-ups that we exposed within it. That Labour Party council at the time was run by a woman called Amanda Chadderton. I have released clear video evidences of Amanda Chadderton leading her council members to voting down a motion. The Labour Party voting down a motion. So the reason no Westminster politician had been able to engage, because the mechanisms through which we engage Westminster politicians, and Burnham is fully aware of this, is by getting councils to represent local people. That is the mechanism through which local democracy informs national democracy, and the local democracy motion that was taken by Conservatives that the council tried to scupper and refused to debate in the first place, and it is only through the perseverance of survivors in the public gallery screaming that the likes of Lewis Quigg and others forced a vote, and we lost that vote. And the vote we lost, the leader of Oldham Council stated in the meeting prior to that, you can't say it destroyed lives. And do you know what we did? We took the video footage, we ran a crowdfunder in a small northern town where there isn't a lot of money going around. We ran a crowdfunder, we raised thousands, and pensioners went to the streets delivering leaflets. 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, you should be ashamed of yourself. The elderly went out. People with terminal illnesses, people who've died since, went out helping me deliver leaflets, raising awareness. There's a friend of mine in the campaign, in the lead up to the general campaign. He got chased down the streets by Pakistani men. And it's all evidenced online. I documented all of this. Siraj Amir is making none of this up. They have been attacking us. They've been trying to put us in prison. When we were campaigning against Amanda Chariton, police officers unlawfully arrested me. The Labour Party has prevented us from taking this matter to Westminster. And the only reason this matter went to Westminster was that in that subsequent council, 5 years into our journey now we are, in that subsequent council meeting, the election, we removed the last number of Labour Party councillors we needed to remove to get the council into no overall control, where the minority Labour council had to do a deal with opposition councillors that it had bought to write to the government. So for those of you who say, oh, what have you been doing? We've been at this relentless for 5 years. Every obstacle we've overcome to get it to national government. And that letter that came back from Jess Phillips, we released it. It wasn't no national newspaper organisation with their exclusives or whatever. We released it. Go and look at the document trail. We released it because we went and read the thousands of pages where it's hidden. So Burnham can be frustrated, but I don't remember him speaking out. Do you? Do any of you remember Burnham speaking out? Do any of you remember Burnham in his interviews after his sham of a report was published saying, this is deeply concerning. My review was extremely limited. I now urge the government. He's the Greater Manchester Mayor. He's the Police and Crime Commissioner. Do any of you remember Burnham saying, I'm deeply concerned about what this evidence is showing? No, he continued with his next part, continued to cover up his sham, and even his investigators ran away. And do you remember any other national newspapers or the national media agencies running headlines, CSE investigation in Greater Manchester, lead investigators resign? Oh, Raja, you need to be calmer. You need to play the game. I'm not here to play any games. I'm here to show you what is said and what hasn't been said, and for you to understand how deep this goes and what our responsibility is to hold those to account who failed our children, and to make sure that those who were involved in the cover-up go to prison.